Well, greetings from ABC Acres. I'm Grant Shadden, and behind me is Andy Engel. And today we are down in the snowy seasonal floodplain building Chinampas. And Chinampa is an ancient technique of agriculture that was started by the Aztecs in Central America. And it has since spread throughout Central America and South America. And it's even found in Mexico City. And it was a method of agriculture where they used marginal wetlands, typically swampy land or shallow lakes and ponds. And what they would do is they would build a framework out of pulpwood, and they would actually build a basket with pulpwood and then sticks inside the shallow water. And then they would cut the water grasses and everything else, place that in their basket, and then they would scoop out the rich, mucky soil from the bottom of the lake or the pond or the swamp and place that as their planting area. And what would happen is they had a nice microclimate because of the thermal mass of the water, so it would give them a better environment for growing their crops. But it also was a very rich, fertile area, and they would just every season bring up more of the soil that would build up every season on the bottom of their ponds or lakes. And then they would also be able to have access with canoes in between these Chinampa beds that they created, this whole network in waterways. So with the buoyancy of the water, they could harvest and transport large amounts of vegetables and grains using the water to make transport that much easier and efficient. It was an ingenious system, highly productive. It allowed them to have really high population densities in their capital city and their larger settlements at the edges of these lakes. And so here in our seasonal wetland, we're kind of paying homage to their system, but we're doing it in our own unique way for our context. And so as you can see, Andy is placing these straw bales and stacking them with the strings on the sides to hold them together. And he is placing them on top of a foundation of cottonwood logs, which you can't see because they're under the snow. And so those cottonwoods came from this area right here. They were all falling over on themselves. The cottonwood trees had ended their life cycle, and so we're giving them a new birth in these Chinampa beds as a foundation. And so we're creating these unique raised islands and peninsulas throughout this seasonal wetland, where we're going to be able to plant trees and shrubs and vegetation for the wildlife, for deer and elk seasonally, for waterfowl that come through here. And we're just looking to create this habitat, this rich environment. And typically, agriculturally, people would see a wetland as a very marginal, typically useless area. But what the Aztecs have shown and what agricultural experts have verified is that these Chinampa systems, in what would be considered agricultural wasteland really, was one of the most, if not the most, productive agricultural system in recorded history. And so we've got this old straw that was just left over from a farmer that we got at a really reduced rate. So we're taking that resource and we're gonna give it new life. As it starts to decompose and break down, then we'll begin planting in it. So this is more on our outer zone, not our main crop fields and pastures and things. So it's a little bit of a different strategy of just kind of set it and forget it, let biology, let nature take its course and create this rich environment for planting, which will only enrich the biodiversity and the numbers of wildlife that call this floodplain home. And so as you can see, Andy's working away, and I'm going to go ahead and join him so that we can get this done. well, as you can see, we got that Chinampa bed finished. We have a nice little island out there, and as the water starts to rise up, kind of coinciding with the rising river level in the spring, this will start to fill up with water. And what we'll have, and what the Aztecs had and what made this system work so well, is a wicking bed. That moisture will tap into the organic matter, and through capillary action will wick up about 18 inches, 1.5 feet, right into the root zone of these trees, shrubs, vegetables if we wanted to plant, right in there, creating a no irrigation bed. Always having access to moisture, the plants are never stressed, and so you get very good growth, very good production. And the Aztecs, with their Central American climates, they could get up to 7 harvests of vegetables and grains out of these Chinampa beds in a year. And that's how they were able to support these high population densities they had. So Andy's starting on our next one. We've just been working our way through this seasonal wetland, just creating more and more of these unique spaces, these edges where more life can happen, where we're sequestering carbon through the decomposition of organic matter and bringing more life, more diversity into this area. And you may have an area, maybe a wet area in your yard, the edge of a pond, a swampy area that you haven't been able to do anything with, but now with Chinampa beds, it could be your most productive area of your land. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna go get back to work.